person talks at a time. Maya, listen to understand. Victoria, that's the speaker. Rachel, use quiet voices. Kelsey, when Kristen talks at a time, say nice words. No, use the right way. Izzy, say nice words. Lucio, respect. One, two, three.
Reading opens all roads to success. Yours.
Excellent. All right, we're going to continue reading chapter 44 of Holes, which we are almost at the end of our read aloud book. Make sure materials are down. We'll get to them in a few minutes. And just keep in mind, we're focusing on Stanley and Zero and their character traits. I want you to really focus on how they're thinking, how they're acting, and what they're saying. And those are the clues to help us figure out what their character traits are. Okay, and there's a chart over here helping us come up with some character traits, because I'll be showing you some of my thinking as I read. We'll be doing some partner thinking, and then you're going to be going off to your own independent reading books to do your own character thinking. Okay? All right. So we last left off kind of an exciting part where Stanley brought down the shovel in the hole, and what happened? Isabella?
He hit something.
He hit something. Because normally when he's digging through dirt, it goes through. Yes, it's heavy, but he doesn't necessarily hit something. So, and we're thinking, how many people are thinking that yes, this might be it? I know some of us know a little bit more. All right, let's see. So, and as he did, he felt the shovel bounce off something hard and bounce. What was that? Zero asked. Stanley didn't know. He moved his shovel up and down the side of the hole. As the dirt chipped and flaked away, the hard object became more pronounced, sticking out. It was sticking out of the side of the hole, almost a foot and a half from the bottom. He felt it with his hands. What is it? Zero asked. He could just feel a corner of it. Most of it was still buried. It had the cool, smooth texture of metal. I think I might have found the treasure chest, he said. His voice was filled with more astonishment than with excitement. Really? Asked Zero. I think so, Stanley said. The hole was wide enough for him to hold the shovel lengthwise and dig sideways into the wall. He knew he had to dig very carefully. He didn't want the side of the hole to collapse along with the huge pile of dirt directly above it. Why wouldn't he want the dirt to fall or collapse? Turn and talk. What might happen?
It could bury them or
Bury them and then they run out of air and die.
actually run out of air if you get out by a rock.
So he doesn't want the dirt to fall on them and hit them. And also he doesn't want to bury the treasure, right?
So, yeah, because if the dirt falls, it'll probably bear more pressure.
Yeah.
All right, who can share their thinking? Any ideas? Okay, Kelsey? Okay. Oh. So right now the treasure chest is sticking, or whatever it is sticking out. They think it's a treasure chest. But if dirt falls, it's going to bury it again. Okay? All right? And then they have to start all over again. Okay? Anything else? Yes? Because what are they by? What is it? Sleeping people. Okay, it might make noise, right? It might wake up a lot of people. They're trying to be quiet. Okay, yes, good thinking. I didn't even think of that one. Yes, Teddy Bear?
Zero and Stanley might get buried with the...
That's actually what I was thinking. Was anyone else thinking that one? Great ideas, and these two ideas I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking they might get buried. And they're already 5 feet into the ground, maybe a little bit more because they were digging. And it's the middle of the night. Something happens to them. Will anyone know? All right. So let's see what happens. So they're nervous that it's going to collapse. So there they are, deep down. They're digging down the side. He scraped at the dirt wall until he exposed one entire side of the box-like object. He ran his fingers over it. It felt to be about 8 inches tall and almost 2 feet wide. He had no way of knowing how far into the earth it extended. He tried pulling it out, but it wouldn't budge. He was afraid that the only way to get to it was to start back up at the surface and dig down. They didn't have time for that, though. I'm going to try to dig a hole underneath it, he said. Then maybe I can pull it down and slip it out. Go for it, said Zero. Stanley jammed the shovel into the bottom edge of the hole and carefully began to dig a tunnel underneath the metal object. He hoped it didn't cave in. Occasionally, he'd stop, stoop down, and try to feel the far end of the box. But even when the tunnel was as long as his arm, he still couldn't feel the other side. Once again, he tried pulling it out, but it was firmly in the ground. If he pulled too hard, he feared he'd cause a cave-in. He knew that when he was ready to pull it out, he would have to do it quickly before the ground above it collapsed. All right. Hello? Chapter 44, which I just read today. So they finally found the hole. Stanley found the hole. And he started digging. As he made the hole deeper, how deep was the hole already? 5 feet deep. So he already went in the 5. Exactly, 5 by 5. Yes. He went down in the 5-foot deep hole, and then he started digging deeper. He made the hole deeper. It became harder to lift the dirt up and out. That's really deep down. It was 5 feet deep before he even started, and that's what you girls just told me. He decided to use his efforts to make it wider instead. You know what? I'm not going to keep digging down. I'm going to chop down the sides a little bit, making it wider. Do you think that was a good idea? Okay. And then he said, this made more sense, he told himself. If Kate Barlow had buried a treasure chest, she probably wouldn't have been able to dig much deeper. So why should he? So he's thinking this in his head. So he was digging down, he started digging sideways because he said, you know what? Barlow buried this treasure. I don't think she would have buried it much deeper than 5 feet. I think it's inside of the walls of dirt on either side. By what he's thinking, what he just did, what does it tell you about him? Talk to each other. What do you think? What would you say about him? His thinking. Do you think it was a smart thing to think, or do you think it was something not so smart? Why?
Because not a lot of people can dig down really, really deep. Because if they didn't have a strategy to get up, how would they get up? And maybe Kate Barlow buried it like in the middle of like those 2 holes, like before they were there, before the holes were there. And the suitcase might have been in the middle of 2 holes, and nobody knew.
So you're thinking the way he's thinking is actually smart. Is there any other synonyms that you can use for smart?
Intelligent.
Intelligent, I love it. Do you agree that he's intelligent for thinking this? Okay. Anything else we can think of? Intelligent, smart. Do you agree that he's intelligent and smart because of what he's thinking? And then, of course, we know what happened later on in the chapter. He started digging wider in the sides, and then what happened?
The water took it.
Well, he found the treasure, and then, of course, at the end of the chapter, what happened?
The water took it.
Unfortunately, okay. What else can I help you with? What are you having trouble with? Finding the evidence about the character, or the difference between the character and the emotion?
I don't think this is a good book for it because, yeah.
Do you have another one in your book box? I'll give you 2 minutes to see the shelf and put it back. Okay.
I'm having problems finding out the evidence.
Okay. So I'm going to send you off. Go start reading, and I'll check in with you first. Okay. I really want you to read, kind of picture in your mind, because you're just starting, correct? So that means that you're painting a picture of that character in your head, or characters. Take it slow, especially in the beginning. Paint and go back, reread. It's okay. Make a note if you need to on the white line piece of paper. All right? And I'll come and help you. Okay? What about you? Finding evidence or the difference between character trait and emotion? Okay. Okay. So with I to be already. Okay. I want you to flip over that white line piece of paper, and I want you to write down what you know about I to be so far, because you're in the middle of the book, correct? Okay. Write down what you think her character traits are so far, and I'm going to come help you. Okay. Go. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I just noticed something about the book on the back it has smart camera.
Unbelievable. Character traits right there. All right. Put a bookmark in your book, if that's what if you're finishing reading, or finish up your last piece of writing and quietly come have a seat on the rug. A few of us will share our evidence and our thinking. The spots you were in earlier, please. Doing with your independent reading books, and I know it's the end of the year and some of you have finished books already this year, but some of you are starting new books for the summer, which is fine too. Who would like to come up with their book, their character, their evidence, to the board and explain to the group what you're thinking and what happened? Okay, remember some of us have not read these books before, so you might need to tell us a little bit about that. Okay, Chanel, come on up. So with your book, you can come sit in this chair and just explain your thinking about what the book said, I was thinking, and because. All right, that.
The book was Jack Russell Dog Detective, The Very Biscuits, and when the book said Paw Troll the Paw Riddler, I was thinking funny because it was supposed to say Troll the Prisoner.
What about the character? Oh, I see. Okay. So you thought the dog was funny. Okay. All right. Can you think of another word, a synonym for funny, more 4th grade level that's going to make me happy?
Hilarious.
Okay. Better. Okay. Hilarious. Okay. Thank you. Clayton? Do you want to come up? No? Okay. I saw your hand. Victoria? Loud and clear, though. Make sure we're lucky. Yes. You know what? Add a marble. You guys have been working hard. Yes. Make sure you bring the marbles back and forth. And we'll just choose one more person because it is snack time.
I read the book Sometimes on the Broadway.
My favorites. If you hold up the books out, I everyone can sing. Balloons Over Broadway.
And
Yes?
when the book said Tony, hey, when Tony pulled the rope, and the door to the chicken coop open, I was thinking that Tony had vigilance making a creative mind because he made a plan of how to do the chickens outside into his book.
Actually, can you find that page quickly? So interesting, Victoria actually chose a non-fiction book. This is all about Tony, who created the Macy's Day Parade. He's a big reason why the Macy's Day Parade exists today. So when he was little, and we read this book earlier in the year, he made the contraption at his farm because he didn't want to get up in the morning and he had to let the chickens out. That was one of his jobs. I don't. It's true. It's true. So clever, she said, because he made his contraption. He didn't even have to get out of bed. All he had to do was pull the string. So I agree. Excellent job, Victoria. Okay. Victoria, pick one more person to come on up for today, and I'll be collecting all the rest of these to see how you guys did. Loud and clear. And I know you've been reading this book for a while. Ida B. We all saw Ida B was on the MCAS one of the past years.
When the book said, Ida B, your mom has cancer, I was thinking that Ida B was feeling upset because Ida B started going to school again and she missed her mom, and Ida B was always taking care of her mom before she started going to school.
So you're kind of thinking more about what she was thinking. So her mom has cancer? You're very sad. Okay. Before we end the day, last thoughts on character traits. Who can remind the class what character trait is? And they would like to come to the front of the room and explain to the group. Andrew, okay, come on up. Take it away. So like a mini teacher. The last thing in our head before you leave my room. What is it going to be, Andrew? And you can use the chart behind you too. Okay, all right, you don't need it. Let's hear it.
The trait is an objective that someone is for their whole life, but if they're doing it like for only one day, that means it's emotion. If someone was taking for one day, it's emotion. If he was taking for his whole life, it's a character trait.
And for bonus points, who was a picky person in one of our read-alouds that I mentioned earlier? Phoebe what? Winterbottom from what book? By? Oh my, you're moving to 5th grade. Good job. Okay, thank you. Excellent job. And you can press the little button on the right and bring it to me. Girls, pass your papers up to Kelsey. Boys, pass your papers over to Elijah.
I'm not done.